Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network.
This is the Loman Gallery in Yellow Point. It's so cute and quaint. Today we're going inside to meet some artists who are participating in an upcoming show. A promising start to the salmon run in Millstream, reminiscing about growing up in a lighthouse. And this week in BC, trains, pipelines, and oil. That and more in the next 30 minutes. You are watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We're inside the Loman Gallery in Yellow Point. We're going to have a conversation with Claudia Loman, who is responsible for this beautiful artwork here in her gallery. She's one of 18 artists participating in Deck the Walls that's coming up on November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. We'll give you some more details on that, as well as the Yellow Point Studio Tour that is also just around the corner. That's all coming up later today on Go Island. But first, the salmon are spawning, and while it's still a bit too early to tell for sure, the coho return at Nanaimo's Millstone River is already looking very promising for this year. Here's Annette Lucas. A real gem right in the heart of Nanaimo, Bowen Park. Check it out with your family if you haven't already, and we're looking forward to hosting a future Go Island episode from the Nanaimo River Hatchery. They're having an open house in early November. You are watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. This is Claudia Loman. We're here in her studio. It's bright, it's colorful, it's energizing. I've been trying to categorize your work, and I can't. But you have a description for it.
I call it imaginative, geometric, abstract. But if you know to describe it any way better, go ahead. I have a hard time myself.
And it is very abstract, but there's little images that come out. I'm thinking of this one here in particular, and even though they're not obvious at first, faces play a big role in your work.
Yeah. Whatever I look at, I see faces. And if you look at my paintings, you will see after a while a lot of faces, and people are standing in front of it and suddenly say, oh, I see something else now. And that's what I like about art. If you don't see the whole image immediately, if you can discover after a couple of weeks or months or years something else suddenly in artwork.
Okay. Now these tables you've picked up at sort of flea markets and garage sales.
Yeah.
And what do you do to them once you find them?
Most of the time I totally have to sand it down to the bare wood. And then I start from scratch, and then I paint, and I decide color schemes before, and all the rest comes while I design it.
I'm going to play a little bit color schemes, right?
Thank you.
Making sure. Art has always been a part of your life. Your father was an accomplished landscape artist. Yeah. And it sort of opens up what art can do, the discussion about what is beauty and how do you define beauty. Yeah. How is beauty defined for you as an artist?
Everything what is pleasing for me, what I like to see, is for me art. It can be a kitchen tool or pottery. Everything. I think there is not really a limit to art. I like if something is working and pleasing at the same time.
Okay, functional as well. And color, I love the colors in here. Big, bold, bright.
I'm a happy person, so I need colors.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you. We're going to talk a little bit later about a Deck the Walls fine art show and sale that's coming up at the Moose Hall. We're going to give you details on that later on this edition of Go Island and meet a couple of the other artists who are participating. It's time now for a short break. Still to come today on Go, Comox Valley teachers inspired to run a marathon in New York, reflecting on life in a lighthouse and trains, pipelines, and oil. Is it just a matter of time?
Did you know it's often been said that Nanaimo has more retail space per capita than any other city in Canada? In March 1980, Vancouver Sun reporter Gary Fairburn did a story which said Nanaimo, which had a population of 44,000 people, had 2.2 million square feet of planned or existing retail space. That is 16 square feet per resident, or 4 times the national average. So did you know Nanaimo actually did have more retail square foot per capita than anywhere else in Canada?
You are watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. Deck the Walls features at least 18 members of the Nanaimo Chapter of the Federation of Canadian Artists. It runs at the Moose Hall on Cranberry Road, November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. The hours are Friday from 1 until 7, and then Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. And you can get more information by telephone if you'd like. The number to call, 250-758-8641. We're going to head over and up to the Comox Valley now. Two local teachers there are gearing up to participate in the New York State Marathon. They're new to running. They had a huge inspiration to take on this task that is no easy undertaking. Here now with those details is one of our volunteer reporters, Jamie Samhen. That is handcrafted jewelry by artist Margaret James. She is one of the members of the Canadian Federation of Artists Nanaimo Chapter, participating in Deck the Walls, coming up at the Moose Hall November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And there's quite a story, Margaret, as to where these stones come from. For example, what's the story behind this one at the bottom here?
This is a volcanic glass, and this is a stone that came from Machu Picchu. And some of these are from there also, and most of the other ones are from South America.
And so when you're traveling, like it sounds like you do a lot of, how much of your focus is put onto finding these stones to bring home?
A lot. I'm always in the rock shop, and everyone says they can find Margaret, she's in the rock shop.
Now these are very big, bold pieces.
They are.
Is that what people want these days, do you think?
Well, yeah, they do sell. It's one of a kind. Each one is one of a kind.
Okay.
So you'd never find another necklace the same.
Okay. Now you're going to have some other items as well at the Deck the Walls?
I've got the earrings, but I'm also going to have some paintings. I do oils and acrylics.
Okay.
And they'll be there too.
How long have you been a member of the Canadian Federation of Artists?
Probably 10 years.
Why? What does it do for you as an artist?
What does it do for me? It inspires me to paint more. You know, we have our meetings, and then it's just an inspiration to be around with fellow artists, to get inspiration and draw off them.
So it's about being with your peers and your colleagues, and I guess I imagine your work would improve and progress.
And just be at the shows, and it's very interesting.
Excellent. Okay, well, I always have a hard time coming to shoots like this because all I want to do is shop. But I will refrain and throw things over to Sean Leslie this week in BC. It's all about trains, pipelines, and oil. Is it just a matter of time? You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We're continuing with our sneak peek at the upcoming Deck the Walls Fine Art Show and Sale. It runs November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at the Moose Hall on Cranberry Avenue, which technically is in Ladysmith, but it's actually more like Yellow Point. For those of us who are locals, know that sometimes those lines get a little bit blurred. Artist Patricia Mansell is no stranger to our channel. We've had her on us several times before.
Yes.
I'm always struck by the realistic look of your work. And
Thank you.
Why are you so drawn to the wildlife?
Well, animals are a wonderful subject, and we have such a range of them here in North America. Moving from the prairies over to Vancouver Island 2 years ago, just awesome about the animals, the marine life, the fish, the wonderful eagles that we have around. I'm just in heaven going out with my camera, catching all of them, coming back, getting as much reference on the animals as I possibly can, and then take it all to the easel and see what comes out. When I pick up a brush, I never quite know where things are going to finish. It's always a bit of a mystery how they're going to adapt and come to life.
Where do you start when you pick up the brush? Some people start with the eyes, and that's when it comes alive. What is the first point that you go to?
Actually, the face, you're right. Start with the area that's going to be the most focused, the face, how the head is turning, what the animal is doing, striking the pose, and then go from there. The rest comes from there. And the colors that come out in its fur or in its feathers, just whatever my hand wants to go to, whatever color it picks up.
And you enjoy working on the stone
I
as
love
well.
working on the stone. Working on a canvas is a very flat, predictable surface. You know what you're dealing with when you're working on the slate. These are natural pieces. They actually come, the two front ones come from the island here, the stone. The back one is from the States. It has fault lines, it has crevices and cracks. Working with that, quite often when I get a piece of stone, it'll talk to me. I close my eyes and I touch it with my fingers, decide where the crevices are. It tells me what animal it wants to portray on there, and then I get started.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that is, I got chills there for a moment. The upcoming show, Deck the Walls, is the
Yes.
first annual.
It is.
It's no secret there are lots of art shows and sales around. What niche
There
or
are.
why the need for this one, do you think?
Well, we felt it would be a lovely opportunity. For the Federation of Canadian Artists is well known for the wonderful wall fine art that's framed that you see around. This gives us an opportunity to do all the other work that we do as well, that will people will love to get pre-Christmas for Christmas presents, stocking stuffers, etc. We'll have tons of it at the show and sale. It gives us an opportunity to display that, whereas a normal Federation show, there may only be an opportunity to show wall art, the bigger framed pieces. This gives us across the board what artists do, not only the big pieces, the small pieces that they love to do in between times, and things like jewellery and art cards, have prints of work. There'll be quite a bit for people to see and take in.
Excellent. Time to start Christmas shopping, and if you can do it locally to support the people who are living and working right here in the community, then all the better for that. Reminiscing about a childhood spent at the Sheringham Lighthouse in a tiny community called Shirley, just outside of Souk near Victoria, Paul Beilstein spends some time now with the lady who was doing just that, remembering her childhood growing up in a lighthouse. A very nice story there. Thank you, Paul. That brings us to the end of this edition of Go Island. A slight correction. The Moose Hall isn't in Ladysmith or Yellow Point. It is technically in Nanaimo, Chase River, and that's where Deck the Walls will be held November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. You can get more information by telephone if you need it. 758-8641. Admission to that event is free. There'll be more than 18 members of the Nanaimo Chapter of the Canadian Federation of Artists. Also taking place in the Yellow Point area, the 25th annual Country Christmas self-guided tour, becoming quite an established institution and tradition in the area at Christmas time. It runs on November 21st, 22nd, 23rd. You can get more information through the website, cyartisans.com. One more thing to mention before we sign off officially for today. The Downtown Nanaimo Halloween Howl is coming up on October the 26th. You're probably right in the middle of figuring out exactly how you're going to spend Halloween, and it's a great event downtown. Lots of kids running around in costumes, a family-oriented event including pet parades and costume contests and zombie walks, and of course trick-or-treating at all the shops who open their doors. It runs from 10 a.m. until about 2 in the afternoon, and you can get full details at www.dnbia.ca. That pretty much wraps it up for me for today. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network. Clothing supplied by Catwalk Fashions. Kate's Hair and Aesthetics provided by Maffeo Salon.